For years, robots were background noise, factory arms, vacuum cleaners, harmless machines that carried no weight beyond their purpose. They were tools, tucked into corners, never more than extensions of human will. But the edges are blurring. Now, machines stand taller, shaped like us. Their movements clumsy, yet unsettlingly familiar. Some are made to smile, to greet, to sell. Others are built to labor without pause. A few, caught on camera, move in ways no one planned. They no longer feel distant. They are here, beside us, raising questions we have barely begun to face. The viral outburst. It began like any other test, inside a quiet factory in China. A humanoid stood unfinished, suspended from a crane, its frame bare, wires still exposed. Two engineers worked nearby, guiding the machine through simple calibration steps. They tapped at tablets, calling out readings, watching joints flex and relax. Nothing suggested danger. It was routine, a rehearsal of movement, a step in the long, patient process of teaching machines to behave. Then, without a signal anyone expected, the calm broke. Motors surged all at once. The robot's arms spun wide, legs jerked hard, its suspended body twisting violently as if pulled by invisible strings. The crane hook above groaned under the strain. A monitor tipped and shattered on the concrete floor. A bucket of bolts scattered like coins. The engineers stumbled back, one nearly tripping as the metal frame swung toward him. For 20 seconds, the machine no longer looked like a machine. It looked wild, unpredictable, even angry. The footage surfaced hours later online. First shared on a local site, then picked up by news feeds, it spread faster than the engineers had time to explain. Within hours, comments poured in. Some viewers laughed, comparing the scene to movie villains. Others mocked it as a failed stunt, proof that robots still belonged in science fiction. But a different group watched with unease. They saw not a clumsy prototype, but the reminder of how fragile control can be. A line of code, a sensor reading off by a fraction, and the machine lashed out with a force that seemed disturbingly human. The engineers returned to their work. The robot was secured, and the test was reset. Order resumed. But the video remained. It lingered in people's minds long after the floor was cleaned and the crane lowered. What unsettled viewers was not just the chaos of the moment, but the glimpse it gave, how quickly a tool can slip its boundaries, how thin the line is between obedience and something else entirely. China's robots of charm and power. Not all of China's machines rage against their limits. Some are built to win hearts. Hoodoo Robotics recently showed off a humanoid that walks at a steady pace, climbs stairs, and even keeps balance when pushed. It is not meant to fight or frighten, but to prove that human-like strength can be steady and reliable. Another company, Clone Robotics, took a different path. Their prototype flexed strands of artificial muscle, built to copy the pull of tendons beneath skin. It was unsettling to watch, both fascinating and eerie, as if a body was learning to move without a soul inside it. They promise one day it will cook, clean, and speak as naturally as a person. And then there is Cherry Automotive. Instead of selling robots, they use them. Their showrooms now feature blonde android hosts with sleek ponytails and dark glasses. These machines hand out water bottles, explain trim packages, and sway gently to music. Cameras hide behind the shades, sensors rest in their fingertips. Customers laugh, film them, and share clips online. Each robot serves a role, strength, imitation, or charm. Yet together, they leave behind a mood that is harder to shake, attraction mixed with unease. Germany's practical answer. In Germany, the story feels different. Instead of spectacle, one company is selling functions. Igus, a firm long known for perfecting low-friction plastics, has stitched together its parts into a humanoid worker. They call it Iggy Rob. It doesn't walk. Instead, its body is mounted on a mobile base that glides across the floor. Two mechanical arms rise from the shoulders, built to lift, grip, and sort with quiet precision. Its runtime is 8 hours on a single battery, long enough to match a human shift. The price is striking, just over $50,000, cheaper than many cars and far below the cost of rival machines. For factories, it's not a dream or a gimmick, it is a calculation. Test it in the cafeteria or at a reception desk. If the numbers add up, keep it. There is no flash, no charm. Iggy Rob is built to blend in, to work where people once stood. And in that quiet practicality lies something more unsettling than any performance. America's DIY revolution. Across the ocean, the United States is opening the door differently. At the University of California, Berkeley, researchers released a humanoid that anyone can build at home. The design files, the control software, even the training scripts, everything sits online, free to download. The robot is small, about the size of a child. Its frame can be printed on a hobby 3D printer, while motors and parts are ordered from suppliers abroad. The cost is roughly $5,000, a fraction of what commercial machines demand. In garages and basements, hobbyists are already assembling their own. The real leap is in the software. The team trained the robot's movements entirely in simulation. When the code was transferred to the real body, it worked on the first try. The robot walked, shrugged, and even stacked small cubes without further training. Online reactions split quickly. Some saw a revolution, a new era where anyone could tinker with humanoids. Others saw fragile toys, doomed to wear out after a few months. Yet the point remains. The barrier is falling. Robots are no longer hidden in labs or factories. They are becoming something that ordinary people can build, shape, and release into the world. Hyundai's giant leap. In South Korea, ambition has taken on a larger form. Hyundai, now the owner of Boston Dynamics, is preparing to place its famous Atlas robots onto the factory floor. Not as a showpiece, but as part of a real production. The plant chosen sits in Georgia, a vast new site built to assemble electric cars. The goal is bold: 300,000 vehicles a year. To reach that target, Hyundai plans to mix people, robotic arms, and two-legged machines under the same roof. Spot, the four-legged robot dog, is already there inspecting. Soon, Atlas will join, carrying panels, stepping over lines, and climbing stairs meant for humans. The investment is massive, billions spent not only on the factory, but on automation itself. Managers claim it will keep lines moving and reduce accidents. Workers are less convinced. Some see a future where their place is uncertain, where silence and metal take over the rhythm of the floor. What emerges is something the industry has never tried at scale: a workshop where human technicians and humanoid robots share the same shift. A new kind of workforce, half flesh, half machine, building the vehicles of tomorrow. The larger pattern emerging. Look at the pieces together, and a shape begins to form. In China, robots stumble and charm. In Germany, they count costs and calculate returns. In America, hobbyists download blueprints and build them in garages. In Korea, entire factories prepare to welcome humanoids onto the line. Each story on its own feels small, a novelty or a headline, but placed side by side, they tell us something more. This is not a scattered invention. It is momentum. The machines are no longer locked in research labs or staged at tech expos. They are moving into dealerships, cafeterias, warehouses, and assembly halls. They greet customers, lift trays, and carry steel. They are becoming workers, hosts, and companions, each designed for a narrow role, but together hinting at something wider. The pattern is quiet, but steady. These machines are not waiting for permission. They are arriving, filling spaces we once assumed belonged only to people. And whether we laugh, cheer, or worry, the direction feels harder and harder to turn back. The human question. With each new machine, the same question lingers. What happens to us? Factories see numbers that promise savings. Managers speak of safety, of longer uptime, of cleaner shifts. But beneath those words is a quieter truth. Every task a robot performs is one fewer reason to call a human in. The risk is not just losing jobs, it is a losing place. A robot does not tire. It does not ask for a break. It does not join a union or demand a raise. In the long run, those differences weigh more heavily than speed or precision. Online, people joke. They share clips of robots flailing, call them clumsy, and compare them to movie villains. Humor softens the edge, but unease remains. The tantrum in the Chinese factory was funny, until it wasn't. The showroom host was charming, until it felt too human. We adapt quickly to new tools, but these are more than tools. They look at us, stand beside us, and take the roles we once held. The real question is not if they can replace us, but how soon we will allow them to. The story of robots is no longer distant. They build cars, greet shoppers, and sometimes lose control in ways that make us uneasy. Each headline adds another piece to a picture that grows harder to ignore. These machines are not coming someday. They are already here, woven quietly into daily life. The choice left is not whether they arrive, but what role we let them take. That decision is still ours, for now. So, before one takes your place, pause and ask, what will it mean to work, to live, to be human, in the shadow of machines?